Yeah.
Okay, so this session is being recorded. We are good, and yeah. So logged into this console, and as we saw, we have created only admin server, which is there now. For now, only admin server and nothing else. Okay, so we have not configured
Okay.
Node Manager. We have not configured managed server so far. So let's see. Like I told, we can create managed servers during our configuration, Node Manager also during configuration, or we can do it later when we want it. So let's say if I want to create a managed server, let's do it from GUI, and then we'll do it from during configuration as well. So I'll name it MS1. Port I'm going to assign to next. Okay, so now what happens here? I have created a server, but I have not assigned it any address. It says machine, there is no machine for this, that means no node manager. Cluster, there is no cluster, it's a standalone, and there is no listen address. So if I don't specify a listen address, what happens? It will start listening on all addresses. So I'll mention an address here. Okay, so this is the address
Can
now.
you just mention that as a local host, that listen address in that place, you should give that IP address only? Okay, okay.
If
Or
you want
DNS
to
name.
specify
Okay, I
localhost,
think they
you're
have
saying?
given that. Yeah, I
Okay,
think
so
I mean, I just added out. Sorry,
yeah, ask your question.
go ahead.
So
Nothing,
what?
nothing. Instead of that, can you use the local host as well, because that is your IP address, right? Local host.
Okay, so if you see this, let me show you one more thing.
Host.
So when we created admin server, I did not specify any local host. Okay, but
Okay.
it is running on my local host by default. Okay, what happens is your local host will be there on your system by default, because whenever you create an operating system, local host is the one which is your machine actually. So it's create a default entry into your /etc host file, which is your local host. So even if you don't specify, by default it will run in your local host. This is, if I'll specify this, it will run only on this one, and a localhost IP specified on your machine. If you will just mention
Okay, okay.
localhost, it will run only on your localhost.
Got it. If you give the specific address, it just runs on that.
Yeah. So localhost is already there by default, so I don't need to specify that. Okay. Like I showed you here, you type localhost and that links comes up.
Got it. It directly ports to that one. Yeah.
Yeah, because it picks up automatically. We will, and same is applicable for everything. So this is for your admin server or managed server, even for your node manager. Node manager, you can specify a local host or you can specify a IP. But it is a good practice that you don't go with a local host. The reason being, let's consider I want to use two node managers on my same machine. Okay, and let's
Okay.
say I go with a local host, then there may be conflict of ports if I do, if in case I forgot to specify a different port. So local host is because it comes by default, and mainly you'll be working with your IPs all the time, and especially when you go for external communication, you definitely will not be using your local host. So it is good for practice, but when you work with the actual system, it is always, you should always use your IP. Okay, just remember that. Okay, so now we have created this server. Now I should try to start it. You see this error? The server
Node manager
MS1 does
is.
not have a machine associated with it. All the servers selected are currently in a state which is incompatible with this operation or are not associated with a running node manager. Okay, so what does it say? So what are we missing here? Any guesses?
We have not configured Node Manager
Yes. So that means if I want to start or stop my servers from here, I
through
need
console.
a node manager first, right? So let's go and create a node manager first.
I mean, mainly we use this Node Manager. In order to, for developers to access it so that they can directly start or stop, or for our accessibility as well.
No, it is for every one. So node manager is a utility, it's a Java utility which gives you a facility so that servers can be started from your front end, from your GUI. Okay. Why do you need this? Let's
Yeah,
say
yeah,
there are different kind of users in your organizations. Like you said, developers. So developers, you gave them development environment, and they have to start and stop services many times to test it. So you assign them a node manager, they can start and stop. But now let's say in production, you have an administration team and also you have a monitoring team. So monitoring team which is there, they are responsible for deployments and monitoring. Okay. Now these guys should have access to start and stop services, but they should not have access to change the configuration. You know the difference. So
okay.
you are an
I know that.
administrator, right? So you will be responsible for maintaining this environment. So that means you have to provide access to different users. So let's say in the same production environment, your developers also needs access, not for deploying, but just to see if things are deployed properly or there is a problem with deployment for that reason. So you have given access to
Yeah,
developer guy who will be just having access for, let's say, monitoring or deploying. To monitoring team, you'll be giving access as a deployer and as a monitoring, so that they can see everything, what is running, what are the parameters, how to deploy and how to start sub services. Now as an administrator guy, it will be your responsibility to change the parameters of configuration. That will be with you. So depending upon different users, you will have different set of access. And if you don't have a node manager, every time it comes to admin, so you will have to start servers from the backend all the time, and you cannot do it for small changes. Let's say there is a problem with the deployment, and monitoring team sends it back to developers saying that this development, the file which you have given for deployment doesn't work. Now developer says, okay, I think there is a line missing in one of the files, let me add that line and give it back to you. Now when he gives another file, these guys have to deploy and maybe they need a restart of server. Then they cannot bug admin all the time. So for that, admin creates a node manager for them so that they can do it on their own. Okay.
yeah. In mainly in lower environments, we will be giving them, right.
Right. So I'm creating a machine now.
Okay.
I'll make it plain, not SSH. So here, if you see, by default, it picks up localhost. If I want, I can change it to my IP as
Yeah,
well. Okay, now this is done. So my node manager is created, and so I should be able to start my servers now, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's
I think
see.
you need to start your node manager as well. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So right. So it says no. So let's see why. So I've created my node manager and I tried to start my managed server, but it's not working. So I'm clicking on my node manager. There is a tab called monitoring. Now it says status inactive. So my node manager should be reachable. So if my node manager is reachable, then only I can work with my managed servers. I can stop them. So let's see, I will have to check for my node manager now. So this is my node manager directory. Currently I can see two files, nodemanager.domain, nodemanager.properties. Let me check the first one if my domain is right. Okay, so my domain says this BISP training, and then this is the domain which is correct. Now I'll be going to this node manager's properties file. I will have to edit few lines. So domain file is correct, node manager path is correct, Java home is correct. I'll change local listen address because I've changed it in the GUI. So I'll change it here as well. So this is one thing I have changed. Listen port 55556, so that's fine. Secure listener, I have changed it there. From SSL I have changed it to plain, so I will make it false here. And then I will go for saving it. And let me start the node manager now. So I'll use nohub. So it says plain socket listener started on port 556. Host is this. So it should be running now. Let's see. Going back to my node manager. And let's see. Right, so it says reachable, and it also tells you the version 12.2.1, and it says reachable. That means my node manager is reachable, and I should be able to start my service now. Let me select it and start. Okay, now what's the issue? So it's still not working. So I have created my managed server, I have created a node manager, I have even started my node manager, but it's still not working. Okay, so the first error, it says the server MS1 does not have a machine associated with. That means you see this column here, machine. So all the server is created, but there is no machine for this. That means in this node manager, it is not managing that particular machine. So we have created the node manager, and if you see on the server list, we don't have any machines here. So we need to add it, MS1. You can also add it for admin server if required, but that's irrelevant. If you want, you can do that. So let's do that in our case also, not a problem. So I've created admin, part of node manager, and MS1. So both are added now. So admin server is running and MS1 is in shutdown status. Let's see now. Okay, so now I can see. So my managed server MS1 is configured. Machine is NM1 and it is in shutdown status. So now it is configured with machine and my node manager is in running status. So let me go back and start it. And it should be starting this time. So your request has been sent to node manager to start selected server. Now let's see here. I should be able to see its logs. Okay, I missed something.
One doubt, Dave, when you, did Control C, I think you have stopped that node manager, or oh, okay, you did give
I
no hub
started
command.
with no hub, so it should not be a
Yeah,
problem.
got it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if
Thank you.
I'll not do no hub, then yeah, it will be a problem.
I forgot.
Okay, so it failed, it says. Alright, I think let's check the server one. We have assigned this IP to 700. Okay, this is not enabled, so not a problem. But let me still change it. Okay, it should fail again. Let's see. Unrecognized. Okay, so let's start for the first time from here because it still goes to SSL.
I mean, the servers list, it should show the node manager, right?
Sorry, which
Where you
server?
have, I mean, in those servers where you went into that path, you need to find admin server and also this manage server as well, right?
Yes, yes. So that's will be visible once it gets started for the first time.
Started. Okay,
Yeah.
first time. Okay.
So let's see. We are going to start this one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do this. This is in development mode. I can specify local host and I can also specify my IP. So it should
IP.
take both of them. Any one of them. I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to start my managed server. Okay, so it failed and it complained about a log file because we tried to start it earlier. It says server may already be running. Let's see if server is running.
Okay. Some thousand. Yeah, it has started with node manager, I think, right?
So I think one is for node manager and one is for admin server. We don't have anything for MS1. Yes, so it's not there. That means it's only a temporary log which gets assigned.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see that. Okay, right, so there is a problem.
Do we need to give T3?
No, not that. We have not specified the managed server name. If you will see my command line,
Okay.
you
Okay,
see
okay.
this. I'll show you,
While
okay, so
starting,
that you know
yeah.
what was wrong. So we specified this, but there was no managed server name. This is missing, right?
Got it, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do our server name is ms1 and let's run it. So it is asking for Weblogic username and password. Okay, so it's running now. Let's go and see that. Okay, so it shows running status. Let me check my NM one more time. Node manager, it's plain, yeah, that's fine. Servers, both servers running and reachable. Okay, so let me try to stop it and start it from Node Manager now. So shutting it down, force shutdown. Let's see, it should be bringing it down here. Yeah, so the server has decided to close this incident. Okay, so it has forced shut it down. Let's check for the status. Okay, so shutdown is completed. Let's try to start it and see what happens. Now we should be able to see logs as well. Okay, I think it
I
may have.
think it is still
Yeah, it is going to
stopping.
the
I think
older
it
one.
takes old log. Yeah.
But there is just one log because there is no log rotation. Let's see. Is it the same one? This page allows 121. Let's see the server time. Yeah, so it has failed from here. And there is no other logs being there. Okay, let me stop this as well and then we'll see. So it
And when you
means
change that node manager properties, you have, I think, did you save that? You saved
I've
that?
changed it for that one and I've
But
tried stopping admin server and then let's see, and this admin server I can start with no hub now.
yeah, no, what I'm saying is that node manager, that properties file, I think, did you saved and closed it, or did you just quit?
Let me check that as well.
I think so. Not sure.
Okay, so admin is started. This should be available now. Let's check for machine. Should be up and running because we have not done any changes. It says okay. Yes, this is fine. Plain. Okay. Let's check for the node manager. Okay, I think it is there. So we have this changes.
Yeah, it's fine. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so IP is there and secure listener's address is equals to false. That's okay. Let me try stopping and okay, that's stopped. Starting it again. Right, so it has taken all changes, nothing like that. Plain circuit listener 556 host. Okay, that is good.
Previously, it didn't show this configuration settings, I think, previously when you executed that node manager.
Yeah, so at that time I did not check the logs, so this time I'm checking it. Let me start it again. We'll find out what is wrong. Okay, let's see. It says
Yes.
starting, and let's go and see for the logs. This log should be visible. Yeah, so out file is created, which is good. Out file should be visible when you start it. Okay, so it says it's running. Let's see if it's running. Okay, so node manager is being set up. Let's try to stop it from here and start it again, just to make sure node manager is set up properly. So let's wait for it to shut down. Once it is shut down, we can try to start it again. Okay, so shutdown is completed, which we can see, and same thing is being shown here in the server log. So as soon as I've set shutdown, it says 4 suspending admin, server state change to admin, that's 4 shutting down, and then these are few lines from node manager at the bottom. So you can see this, which confirms that node manager has brought it down. So node manager, the server MS1 with process ID 7819 is no longer alive. So as soon as servers goes down, node manager got the status and it knows that this server is not running anymore. Process died. Let's start this. Should take some seconds or minutes. Okay, status is starting. Right, so it's running now. So that means we are good with our configuration now. So we have created an admin server, we have created MS1, we have created, let's try creating one more, just to make sure that if we create another server, that goes good. And we'll name it MS2. Finish. Now this time we are not specifying, no value specified. So I'm not going to specify any IP as such. And let's try to start it. Okay, same thing, machine needs to be added. So let's add the machine first. Under servers, okay, machine is being added now. So it's starting. Okay, so this is running now. So far what we have done is we have done a configuration for our environment. We have created an admin server, and then we created two managed server from front end. We have also set up a node manager from front end and changes the configuration to make it sync to our environment, and then this ms1 and ms2 is now set up with node manager and we can start it and stop it with node manager. Now, so remember this one when we created, it was in development mode. So whenever we do anything, it doesn't ask us for anything. My voice is not audible?
Hello.
Rakesh, you can't hear me?
I can hear you. I think.
Or was it an intermittent issue? Now it's fine?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine now. Actually, yeah, 5 minutes I was not able to audible. Means you were not able to audible. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So fine. Let me know immediately whenever
Hello.
something goes wrong. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Sure. So yeah, so I was just saying that so far what we have done is we have done this configuration in a development mode, and we have created two managed servers. We have created a node manager. We have synced this node manager as per our environment and started and stopped managed servers through that node manager. Now, whenever we do any changes, you see this views, changes and restarts. So because this is in development mode, whenever we do any changes to the system, it doesn't ask us for anything. It doesn't ask for any confirmation. So any changes I do, it just accepts it and it takes it. So this is good for development environment, because you know when developers they want to do any changes, they just want confirmation for all those. So they'll just go with the change and then keep on doing it. But in a production environment, we have to make sure that log and edit feature comes here, because any changes we should do to the production, that should be logged in. And once that appears here, any changes you do, even while trying to start a server, it will ask you for yes and no for deployments and for anything. Any changes you want to do in your production system, it should ask you for a confirmation here. So when we'll do it in production mode, it will show us log and edit here. Okay, so this is development mode. When we'll do production mode, we will see that. Okay, I'm closing this one. Next thing is we will need a database. So you guys have downloaded any database with you?
Yeah, that you have told us to download Oracle the database, right?
Okay, so let me see. I will have something because we will need that. The reason being, when we'll run
Oracle
this built-in
12C.
middleware, we'll need it.
Do we need to have 12C or 11G also fine?
11G is also fine. So you can work with 11G because 12C is compatible with 11G. But don't go for 10G because then it comes with complications. So if you have 12C, that will work out. Or 11G. I mean 11G or 12C, any of those. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down this environment for now, or let it run. We don't need it to shut it down as of now. WinSCP. One 168.0.103. Okay, a typo there. Right, so I'll have to go to D directory, softwares. Okay, 1 second. I think I have it in my hard drive. Let me just take a. Okay, so I'm plugging in my hard drive now. Hold on a second. I think I can directly do it there. So I'm transferring my database binaries. Let it transfer. In the meantime, let's see what we have. Okay, any questions on this so far? Any clarifications you want or anything which I hope it is clear to everyone?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, I just thought I lost you guys. Okay, all right. Yeah, one more thing before we go for this database thing. There is one thing I didn't show you. So when we go for this, we can run these servers even on HTTPS SSL ports. Okay, so if I'll enable this, so this is for admin server. We can do it for admin server, we can also do it for managed servers. Let's see, I'll do it for managed server as well. This should be changed to 4 because port should be unique. Okay, so for this one I have not specified the listen address, but let's check the logs what it said. Okay, although you see the difference in during first one I specified that this is for MS2, MS1. Sorry, this is for MS1. Okay, but still you can see it. So for MS1, I specified the IP. Once IP was specified, you see these two lines. So default is now listening on IP 192.168.0.103 port 7003. Okay, but there is no mention of localhost here. Okay, so it's only listening on this particular IP. Now let's check it for MS2. Now you see it here. So do you see a difference between those two servers, MS1 and MS2? So MS1, we changed the IP in listening address, and then that IP was listening only on the IP which I have specified. So it was listening on IP 192.168.0.103:7003. But on second one, I did not specify any IP. Because of that, it is listening on both. So it is listening on your local host address, which is your 127.0.0.1, and on your this IP, the IP where on the server where it should be running. It's also listening. It says listening on your loop back address. So this comes by default with system loop back address. So this also comes in. So it's listening actually on three different IPs. So one is your local host, another one is loopback address, and 192. So if you don't specify this IP specifically for your system, you will see something like this. So you will see three addresses in your system whenever you run your Weblogic. But in case I'll specify the IP, there will be just one address, like we saw in case of MS1. So that's one difference. Now consider the same thing. Now when we'll enable this SSL and when we'll run it, we will do that here. So again the same thing will happen. For SSL, for MS1 it will be listening on two ports. So there will be default running on 192, this one 7003, and there will be a default secure which again will be running on this, and then there will be a port 7004. Let me see if I change it for the second one. Or okay, so this is for second one, MS2. I'm changing it to 6. And I've still not specified the listen address for this. So I'm keeping it same so that I can show you the difference. Now let's start everything. So I'm stopping both node managers, both managed servers first. Okay, it's stopping. Okay, this is also transferred.
One doubt, I mean, not a
Yes.
doubt, actually, a problem with my, again, that Java, I mean, when I try to install this middle, what you call, Weblogic, it just stated that Java version is not supported. So I just checked on the Java version and it is again pointed to 1 point, I mean, the user bin Java.
Okay, you run the profile again and try.
Okay, I think every time do we need to do that? I mean, to
No, now
running
you
that
have
file.
added it to your profile, so now it should be available. Maybe you lost session or something happened. Okay, because that should not have happened. The reason being you have already added the profile, right? So
Yeah,
now,
I've added in that.
yeah, now onwards, any server you start, by default it should be available and it should show you Java Home. Can you do echo $Java Home what it shows?
Yeah, just now I again executed this bash file. Before executing, I just did that. Then it pointed to old Java, that 1.7 point update 45. That is the one which had come with that Oracle 6.5.
Okay.
I think
So,
again I have executed that bash profile file and now it is again showing that
okay, you
not.
do one thing. You close all
Okay.
your session and then start a fresh session and confirm if it shows you for the fresh session. If it shows for the fresh session, then it is fine. Maybe what have happened
I
is,
mean, you want me to
yeah, you
restart?
close this one and then open a new one.
Oh, restart.
Because my guess is you have already run the profile, but you had 2-3 sessions you came in between and you exited those sessions. So you went to a previous session where this was not exported. So that's the only possibility.
Okay, okay. Got it. Maybe. Maybe I think I have opened a new terminal and did this thing, but
Try now. So just open a new terminal. Don't do anything and type with Java. Log in and try with Java.
okay, I'll restart and I'll do that so that you know.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
we have stopped this one. Let me stop admin as well. Okay, so
So
admin I have
you have
said.
enabled SSL, right?
Yeah, we have enabled SSL and we are going to restart it to see if SSL, because it should appear in SSL now. So far we were accessing HTTP. Now it should be there in HTTPS as well. Okay.
Okay.
So we have enabled it for all 3 servers and I have stopped the server. Okay, before start, let me just confirm once if admin should not be running. Let me just see. Sorry, my bad. Okay, it doesn't show anything. That means admin is certainly not running. I can go ahead and start it. Okay, it's running. Now you see, even in case of admin, this is what I was saying. So now when SS is enabled, we are seeing these many addresses. You see, so there is a default secure 2, default 2, default secure, default secure 1, default 1, default secure 2, default secure 2, default secure. So that means earlier when I started it without SSL, there were just 3 addresses. So one for the local host, one for my IP, and one for my loopback address. Okay, but this time I have enabled SSL, so I'm seeing almost 6 addresses. So there are 3 for my local address, my IP, and my loopback address for port, the HTTP port, and other 3 for my HTTPS port. So something with port 7002 is my SSL port. So 7002 on localhost, 7002 on my IP, and 7002 on my loopback address. Okay. Okay, I forgot last time, I think. Let me see. Okay. And similarly, for my HTTP, which is this default one is HTTP. Anything called default secure is SSL. Default is my HTTP. So secure one is HTTPS. Default is HTTP. And now I am seeing more number of addresses. Same thing I will see for MS2, but for MS1 it should be just one. So let's log in first. So this time I will try with HTTPS. Let me open a new window so that I can confirm it is HTTPS. https://192.168.0.103 colon 7001/console. So it's not coming, isn't it? Anything wrong here?
Because it's listening for three addresses, right? That's all.
Can you be a little louder? I was not able to hear you.
It's listening for 3 addresses, right? That's the problem, or what?
Okay, this is Mohan, right?
It's Rakesh.
Rakesh, yeah. Okay. So I tried, see, it is listening on 3 addresses. That means it should be actually reachable from any of those 3, isn't it? So let's say if I say default, it should be listening on this one. And I mean, when it has 3 addresses, it has the luxury of using any of the 3 addresses. Okay, so it says console not available. Let me see. So this is my HTTP, this is my HTTPS. Okay. Now let me check for HTTP one. So I'll remove this one from here. I'll just go to the console.
Might be we need to export in that /etc/host. We need to do any changes over there.
Okay, so this is my HTTP. This is fine, working fine.
Okay.
No issues with HTTP one. Let me just confirm it. Let me copy this one into a notepad. So Control C, going for the notepad. Okay, so this is HTTP. It is confirmed. Let me check it for localhost as well, because it is listening on all addresses, especially my admin. So this is also fine. Right. So my HTTP is working fine. Now let's come to HTTPS. So similarly, the way it is listening on HTTP, it should be listening on HTTPS as well. My local host and IP, isn't it? So what is wrong here? I'm trying it with HTTPS. I'm giving my IP. Let me try with the local host as well, just to make sure. It may be listening on that one, may not be listening on the IP. Let's see. So it says it's trying to connect. But it should not take this longer. Certainly something is wrong. Let's wait until it tries. Okay, on the first attempt when we tried, it says connection was interrupted. Connection to this was interrupted while page was loading. That means on this port and IP combination, it did not listen. So we were not able to get the link. Okay, it's gonna take a while. Maybe it's wrong address or right. So finally it has come. So same thing, like it was saying for the IP and port combination, same thing it says here. So where are we wrong? What are we doing wrong here? Anything you have observed which maybe we may be missing? Because it says it's listening on SSL as well, but when we go to the link, it's not working. So HTTP is working, but HTTPS is not working. Any idea?
No.
Okay, so let me show you something. Okay, and notice that. So I showed you the IP and the port. So I showed you default. This is default. So this is our HTTP, right? HTTP is listening on this IP and this port. But HTTPS is listening on this IP and this port. So what was wrong here was the port number. It should be listening on 7002. So let me do that. Okay, so this is a problem with SSL, it says. But it was trying to hit that.
We need something in /etc/, right? There also.
No, there we have put the entry. So it says secure connection failed, an error recorded during a connection to this cannot communicate securely with peer, no communication encryption algorithm. Okay, it is not able to pick the system one. Ideally it should pick the demo identity one. For some reason it is not. Okay.
So, while you enabled SSL on that admin server, the port is changed to 7002, or did you give 7002?
Okay, so we change it to 7002. So port did not
Okay.
change.
I
Okay, so
think I
what
missed.
happens is whenever we specify a SSL, it should be different than your HTTP port.
Normal port, yeah.
So there will be one for HTTP, one for SSL. Okay.
SSL. Okay, thank you. Got it.
Because one thing you know in the system, any Unix platform or any environment you work, there should be a separate combination for your IP and port, and each IP and port should be distinct for a service to run.
Yeah.
So similarly, in case of this, SSL and non-SSL should be different. Okay, it says it is certified. Let's see. Okay, there is a problem with this as well. This system. Let me try Chrome. Because Firefox, it's very restrictive. It doesn't allow you without a valid certificate. It will not come here, I think, because I'll have to put an entry into /etc host. Let me try.
Again, I closed and opened this, and again it is pointing to, when I did this
Is it?
Java version, it showed to 1.7.0.
Okay, what is wrong with
So
your system? You did something? Okay, let's
I didn't get it.
show me your screen. Let's at least fix this for you. Otherwise, it will give you pain all the time.
Yeah, I think every time it happens. Why? I don't know. I
No,
mean,
it should not happen. That's the reason. You know, that's simplified, and it should work.
yep. You can see, right?
Okay, yeah, go on. Right. Show me your profile.
Yeah. And
Okay, that is.
do we have any other file? I mean,
Hold on. Your Java home, what it is here? 1.8.0 _ 77, is it?
yeah.
Okay, then it's fine. Path equals to $java home / bin $home / bin $. Okay, fine. And if you run the profile here, it starts working, right?
Yeah, if I execute now, I mean, let me show you once, Java
Yeah.
version. See, it's now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if I, and now if I do this, it changes, but only it stays for some time.
Okay, exit it then. Exit this window.
Okay.
Open a new terminal. Do one thing. I think because this is your virtual machine, right? Restart your machine once.
Okay, I think I'm downloading one file, this database,
Okay, so once
because this
that
is
is
new
done, then
period,
you can
right?
do that.
Yeah, I will restart, and I think after the restart it should work because
Yeah,
we made
because
changes to that file, right?
your machine actually starts from there, right? Because this is in VM, it is different. But still,
Okay.
session, yeah, session. Okay, this is just session, so it may not be picking it up. Okay,
Do
so
we have to
let me see if my
I
database
think
is being pushed in. Yeah, it's done.
okay, good. I mean, I think you can share your screen there.
Yes, yes. So that's fine. You just wait for it, and it should be working because I think you have done it right. So it should not be a problem.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, okay. This is my screen. Hmm. Okay. So issue is at server level actually. Okay, so you see, if you see that, although when we are trying SSL, it connects, so it actually listens to that port, but there is a problem with this OpenSSL because this is operating system level SSL, so something is being missing at this OpenSSL software, so that needs to be corrected. So we'll get it corrected, and I think we'll do it when we'll go for this SSL things. So when we'll do this certificate install, at that time we'll get this sorted, because we'll have
Okay.
our own certificates at that time. Okay.
Actually, what duplicate do the does the work?
Sorry, Rakesh, can you repeat that, please?
Actually, what duplicate means? What is the actually what is that command used for?
Used for
That command is there, right? wget.
a wget. Yeah. Okay, this command you're asking. Okay, wget. Yeah. So wget command is like for any link, if you want to see that link is operational or that particular link has a problem. Let's say if you don't have access to console, or you just want to validate it whether a link is operational and that particular link is correct or not, you can use wget. So wget, what it does is it tries to fetches a file from that particular link. Okay, that means when you pass it a link to wget command, it does a webget. Okay, so it gets that file like when you do FTP, you run a get command, you get a file from there.
Yes,
Similarly,
yes, yeah.
wget takes a file, or normally it takes an index file or some other file from there. So similarly, when I'm passing this link to wget, it fetches this and it confirms that it can save that file. Okay, it connects to that HTTP request and it gets the response and it saves this console file. So if you'll see this, there will be a console file here. Yeah,
Yeah.
you see this, there is a console file. Okay, similarly wget, if
Okay.
you try for any other command, it will give you something like it will pick an index.file file depending upon what is there at your home of that particular web product. So if your home product is index.html, then it will download your index.html or any other file which is there at top level directory. So if you run that
Okay.
command and if a connection is successful, it confirms that your link is operational and it's working fine. If it doesn't connect for some reason, like in case of SSL here, it tried to connect, so it gets connected, but it did not get the response back. So from server side, it got connected, but while trying to get a response, it says there was a error, OpenSSL error. So the OpenSSL, which has come with the operating system, may have some problems. It is being not set up properly because we have not checked it for that. So that has a problem. Due to that, we are not able to see it. So there may be some library missing or there may be some other issues. Let me see if I can install something. Maybe I may not be having that SSL itself. Open SSL. Okay. So root. Okay, so you see, so there is no SSL itself on my system.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe that's the reason it did not find it. Okay, and I don't have images also being tagged properly. Okay, let me try doing it. Okay, so let me try, but I think it will not be possible because VM is running now. I will have to shut down my VM and I don't want to do that. Let's see if it works out without that. Okay, let's see if system picks up. Should pick up. Okay, this is one good thing.
When I bounced back when I restarted my server, the Java version has been changed.
Okay,
Like
so now
1.8.
you can
Yeah.
see the latest one.
Yeah, that should be good. Yeah, now it's good.
So it was only because there is a difference between our server and then VM. VM is actually the whole server start. So that comes as a new session, and this terminal is just terminal. That's the reason. So now you should not be seeing your old Java anymore.
Yeah, I could able to see only the new one. I
Okay,
think.
that is good.
Yeah, I was talking by keeping my microphone on mute.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now this one, let me see. So I'm just trying to see if I can change this as per my configuration. Okay, let me see if that works something. It looks like it tries to find it. Op open SSL. Okay. Yum install open SSL. Okay, so I think it is not even part of this package which I have. So I'll have to download it externally somewhere. Media is right.
One more doubt.
Yes.
When I was trying to install this Weblogic, in the what we call before installing it, just checks that prerequisites, right? So I think it is expecting a Java 1.8 update 101. It's just a warning, I think. So
Which
77 should
one?
be
Which
fine,
one
right?
you have?
77 update.
Okay, and which version you're trying to download? Sorry, install.
12.2.1, 12C, Oracle middleware that.
Yeah, then it should be okay because update 51. If it is above 51, then it's fine.
Okay, it just gave warning, but not as an error. So I was just checking.
Have you installed 12.2.2?
2.
I
Okay.
think your
One.
WebLogic version is one more advanced version. So
Oh,
there is a slight difference. Okay, like I told, there should be a compatibility matrix. So 12.2.1 and 12.2.2. So I think you have 12.2.2 because 12.2.2 is what runs with update 101. Although it's not a
okay.
problem, it will work with your this version of Java as well. But what it says
Okay.
is the recommended. So recommended is that.
Okay. Recommendation. Okay. What it stated is it looked for 101, but you
Yeah.
have
So
77.
as per the compatibility matrix, it is 101. So for 12.2.2, it should be 101. What we installed was 12.2.1. So for us, it is update 51 plus. So anything
51.
above 51 is fine.
So you want me to install that Java 101, or will
If
the
you want,
remaining will be
see,
compatible?
you have installed the latest version of WebLogic. So you can
Yeah.
work, either you can download 101 Java and you can place that, or otherwise you can work with this one as well. It should not be an issue. It will not create a problem as such. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
only what it
Okay.
differs is in terms of JVM arguments and few other things, which is fine. So it should not be a
Okay.
problem. Okay, it's not a problem.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
Okay, so I think my database was done. Let's see. Okay, let me remove few files I may not need here. So, okay, let it be here. How much space I have pending? 20 gig. So Rakesh, 20 gig is enough to install a database?
Yes, it's enough. It's enough. Yeah.
It should be sufficient, right?
Yes, yes, it's sufficient. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Let me do one thing. Before we start with this, let me stop this recording and start it again so that, at least, otherwise it will be quite long.